everyone. Starting with the introduction, or rather continuing with the introduction of chapter 4, Business Services, plus 1 syllabus, NCERT. Today we are going to talk about the nature of services, difference between goods and services, talking about the types of services, that is the business services. The first part of it, that is banking, insurance, transportation, warehousing, advertising. What do we have in our syllabus? We have banking and insurance in our syllabus. So we are just continuing with the introduction part. Once I finish up with the introduction of this, then I'll explain what are the different types of business, what are the different types of services, and then we'll expand the business services. Starting with the nature of services. First, what is service? If we remember with the previous video, we talked about service. We said service is something which is intangible or which helps in satisfaction of our needs and wants. Of course, it's not anything which is tangible, not an object or anything like that. Continuation with that, what are services? What is a service? It's an activity or a process which we do in the general, like when you talk about business, production, when you talk about production, purchase, sale of goods and services. So service here is a process or an activity. Now, if it is an activity or process, then what is it like? It is heterogeneous, different in nature. Next we are going to talk about intangible. Why are services intangible? Why? Because we cannot touch them like we touch the goods, but we can see or feel them. So intangibility, inconsistency. Service are not consistent, standardized, not standardized or uniform. They are different. And how it is different, when we'll compare it with goods, we'll come to know. Next we talk about inseparability. When we talk about inseparable, like when you talk about the services, there is they are not separate. The moment they are produced, they are consumed immediately. How? It happens like when you actually avail a service, you have to consume at that time. If you are booking a cab service, you have to sit in the cab and avail the service. If you say, oh, I have booked the cab, but I will travel after 5 days, you will have to book the cab again. Not possible. If you are pre-booking anything for that day, for that time, you have to avail that service. You cannot keep it for a very long time. Inventory. Can you store a service? No, you cannot. Can you store a doctor's treatment? You can store a medicine, but not a doctor's treatment, right? Next is involvement. Now, when we talk about involvement, customers are involved in availing of the services as soon as they are provided to you. As soon as they are provided to you. So that's how people get involved in taking that particular service. This part is the nature of service, though it is not there in our syllabus. It has to be explained because you need to know the difference between goods and services. Until unless this part is clear, the chapter will not be sufficiently clear. So starting with comparison of services with goods. First part, nature. It's an activity or process, whereas goods are a physical object. Here, for example, watching movie in cinema hall is an activity. For physical objective, watching movie on a CD. The physical object, you buy a CD, or rather, and the CD has been bought by you. You buy or you purchase. Okay, so you purchase that CD. The moment you purchase that CD, you're talking about what? You're talking about the nature of that particular product. Apart from that, any services which you avail, not only watching a movie in a cinema hall, when you just simply eat an ice cream in an ice cream parlor, that's again, it's an activity or a process. But if you buy ice cream, come back home, it's a physical object. So anything which is tangible is a physical object, which is just availing of that particular service is basically a service. It's an activity or a process happening at that time. Heterogeneous. Now, if you talk about heterogeneity, mobile services, prepaid, postpaid, heterogeneous, different. But what is the basic function of mobile? Basic function of mobile is that you need to attend a call. So, mobile phone function, basic function is attending call, whereas the services are prepaid, postpaid, and in that also postpaid and prepaid are of different types. So, that's one example. Intangibility. When you talk about intangibility, you talk about going to a doctor. Now, doctor's treatment is an experience which you get. Intangible. You say, no, I can touch the doctor anytime. Okay, touch the doctor, but touching the doctor will not make you fine. It will not make you healthy again. It won't treat you. His medicine which is going to give you is going to treat you, and the kind of services he provides to you and the experience which you have, those are services. Whereas the medicine which you take would be again what? These are your tangible, so these will be the goods. So now we're going to talk about inconsistency. Different customers having different demands, like for example, when we talk about mobile services, the prepaid and postpaid services, sometimes people buy the prepaid services probably for a year or maybe 15 days or 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, depending on it. So it's according, different customers have different demands when we talk of inconsistency in terms of services, but when we talk about the goods, different customers getting the standardized demands fulfilled, like for example, mobile phone. Now what is a basic function of mobile phone is that you attend a call, even it is a button phone or it's an Android smartphone. All you have to do is you attend call or you send text to each other, or you do WhatsApp or whatever is required. The basic phone thing which can be sorted out is by sending text or attending the calls, right? So this is what we talk about. So when we talk about services, these are inconsistent, but goods are consistent, uniform, standardized, consistent. Then the services are inseparable, simultaneous production and consumption. For example, when you're eating ice cream, you're eating in a parlor. The moment you take the ice cream at the ice cream parlor, you immediately eat it, consume it, that finishes off, it's inseparable. But when you talk about getting the ice cream at home and eating it at home, so you purchase that particular ice cream tub, you've got it at home and then you're consuming it. Now, separation of production and consumption. Production happened at that particular ice cream parlor or maybe at the factory where the ice cream is made, but then you got it home and you ate it. So there's a difference. Next, next we talk about inventory. Cannot be kept in stock. Really, when you talk about train journey, can you store the train journey or you keep the experience? It's just purely experiential in nature. Good experience, bad experience, whatever you have. You cannot store a service, but goods, yes, the train ticket you can store, you can keep it in your bag, you can keep it in your wallet just as a kind of a memory, that's your choice. So can be kept in stock, for example, ticket. Then next is involvement, participation of customer at the time of the service delivery. Yes, of course, yes. Self-service, when you talk about when you go to McDonald's, the thing is being delivered to you, you're availing the service, so you are there, your customer participation is there. But when we talk about goods, involvement at the time of delivery, not possible. Now, goods are manufactured somewhere else, delivered to the wholesalers and retailers, and then the customer goes and buys the goods. So, the delivery happening, it is not mandatory. Sometimes you are at home and you ask something to be delivered, right? So, when the good comes to you or reaches you, like for manufacturing and a vehicle. Now manufactured vehicle is being, suppose you talk about Maruti only. It is being manufactured at Gurgaon but delivered at where? Ludhiana, where I stay, or Delhi or Mumbai or Kolkata or anywhere else. So wherever it is being delivered, I'll go personally and buy that vehicle at that particular dealership, right? So at that same time I was not there. Here for availing services I have to be there at the same time. Basic difference between goods and services. If you have a question on what I'm explaining, that types of business services, then there's a separate question, business services. You have social services and personal services, but when you talk about nature of business services, you're going to explain this part only. When there's a comparative analysis, you're going to explain this part along with it, the difference part. Now, next we go on to the first kind of the business service. So business services are basically, when we talk about general business services, it's Tibba, transportation, insurance, banking, warehousing, advertising. In our syllabi, we have complete banking. These are the topics which we have to cover with. Then we have insurance with concept and types and differences, right? Banking and then insurance. Then transportation, just a brief paragraph about how transportation happens and what are the modes of transport. Just a briefing about it. Then we talk about warehousing. Warehousing is not in our syllabus out here in this chapter, as well as advertising is not there. But yes, in communication we do have the various kind of services which talk in terms of postal services and the other services which are being made available. Now, I'm going to explain the complete thing to you accordingly. First, we'll start with the banking. After that, explain you what are the topics to be covered in insurance and what are the topics to be covered with the other services. Now, banking, we have to cover definition, types of banks. There are 4 types of banks: commercial banks, which are public and private; specialized bank, cooperative bank; then the central bank, that is the father of all bankers, that is RBI. Then we have to talk about from types of bank to types of bank account. What all bank accounts do we have to talk about? Saving account, current account, recurring account, fixed deposit, and MODS. This is not there in NCERT book. Complete explanation of these are also not there. We are going to take up these also. Then when we talk about banking services, we are going to talk about the bank draft, we are going to talk about the bank overdraft, we are going to talk about cash credit, we are going to talk about bank check. We can also use some kind of allied services also. That is your, we can say, or rather I'll give you a clear picture out here. We can say something like locker services, right? We can talk about these also. Then e-banking as a topic, definition is there, benefits are there of e-banking, types of digital payments, debit card, credit card, USSD, then UPI, mobile wallets, AEPS, and Amazon Pay and prepaid cards. With banking definition, we also have to talk about the functions of bank or banking. Why functions is necessary? Because without functions, the complete topic will not be clear. Apart from that, after coming to a special topic, this is net banking. This is also not there in your NCERT, RTGS, NEFT, IMPS. Again, NCERT does not have the following topics also. These are also not there, and these are not given separately. They are interwoven with the functions. So that's why whenever I'm going to start with one of particular kind of service, I'm going to explain you which are the topics which we need to do and which are not there in NCERT. Alright, the next topic which needs to be covered here is insurance. Like I told, here we have to do meaning of insurance. We have to talk about principles of insurance. We're going to talk about utmost good faith, indemnity, subrogation, and then we are going to talk about proximate cause. We're going to talk about insurable interest, mitigation, and contribution. These are the principles of insurance which we need to talk about. Next, we have to talk about types of insurance. We'll cover health, fire, life, marine insurance, where we're going to also cover the difference between the life, fire, and marine insurance. Next, postal services. These are your financial and mail services, and then the telecom services. Though these have been deleted this year from the syllabus, so we will not be taking this up, but otherwise we have the following thing with the topics. Next we talk about is, like I told, types of services, starting with business services. I have given you 3 headings out here. One is the definition, the second is the purpose of that particular thing, and next is the example. Already talked about business services. These are those which are used by business enterprise. So these are to be used by what? The business enterprises. Okay. What is the purpose? It is done for conduct of business activities. Of course, yes, we do it for business activities. The purpose is purely business activities, nothing else. Like for example, TIBA, transportation, insurance, banking, warehousing, advertising. This the acronym or mnemonics which I use for any kind of short form which I use for explanation or understanding of any topic. Next we come to is social services. Again, definition, purpose, example. Here one extra point was there, so this is the extra feature bonanza for you. What are social services? These are the services that are generally provided voluntarily. So nobody forces you. If you have recently noticed on social media at many places, what people are doing is they are asking for the donation for that Assam flood, or they are asking for people in different places who are poor, donation, food donation, money donation, kind of donations for people, clothes donation. So there are many things. It's done voluntarily. Nobody is forcing you for it. Social service. Now, as an individual, when you do it, the firms also do it. What is the purpose behind it? To achieve social goals. Now, the purpose is to be socially responsible towards the society, to have social obligation towards the society. If the business remembers the society today, the next day or tomorrow, the society will remember the business. Example is healthcare, education services. These are there, like you help the people in the slum areas, or you provide education to girl child, or you give a job to physically abled person. So these are the things which you are doing to help to the society. Extra feature. Now this is a bonanza out here. What is a bonanza? Do you actually think the business organization which start a hospital, or they do any kind of social services, they just do it purely for the purpose of benefit of the society? Somewhere down the line, they know it very clearly. Like I told you, they know it very clearly. If they remember the society today, tomorrow society will remember them. Suppose on a particular highway, you see XYZ company writing, keep Ludhiana clean and green, or keep Delhi clean and green. So do they have the intention? And you'll see many times motor companies advertising this. Now they are the people who are actually creating the pollution, and they are the people talking about keeping the Ludhiana clean and green. So the intention is pure social? No. Intention is every day when you see that particular kind of billboard, or you see that placard, or you see that board, you are going to read the social objective as well as keep that particular company in mind. So whenever you want to buy a particular product, that company's product, that company and the product will come into your mind the very first thing. So they're doing it to cover their costs. These services are usually provided voluntarily, but there's a consideration to cover cost, undoubtedly. Many big organizations, they give donations to the cancer patient, or they give donation for AIDS suffering patients. What? The message is total social? No. Somewhere down the line, they're talking in terms of covering cost. Next is personal services. Again, definition, purpose. Here we have extra feature as well as example. Personal services are those which are experientially different by different people. Okay, they are just experiential in nature. Why they people or the customers, they experience it differently? Because it is based on their preferences, tastes. The purpose is to fulfill customers' preferences and demands. Undoubtedly, like I just now told you, personal services are for that purpose only. Extra feature, not consistent. They are not consistent, not same. Why? Because every different customer's preference is considered, his demand is considered, his taste is considered. Depend on the service provider. Of course, one who's providing you these services. Now, I'll give an example. When you talk about in terms of recreation or tourism, let's talk in terms of travel and tourism. The air services, right, given by the Etihad is different, given by when you talk about Air India is different, when you talk about which service, Lufthansa is different. So they all have different services. The service provider is different. Plus it also depends on you. You want to travel business class, you want to travel economy class. So Emirates, that's another type of service, totally different. So whatever experience you want, that experience provides you with the personal services. You want to eat in a 5-star, that's your choice. You want to eat in a dhaba, that's again your choice, your preference, your taste. That's how personal services are provided. Thank you for today. We'll start with banking in the next video.